Javier. It's Javier, Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, Ryan Presley closes it out. 14 combined strikeouts. Jim Basketball alongside David Samson. David, historical night. The pitching gets it done, but I want to start with the 25-year-old Christian Javier. Your impressions on what he performed tonight.
We talked pregame that this is no ordinary fourth man in your rotation.
Yeah.
When you have a team that brings out Christian Javier in a game 4 as your fourth starter, and then you see him use his four-seam fastball over 70% of the time. Here you go, Philly. I don't need to tip my pitches. I am throwing you the four-seamer. Hit it. And they could not. He worked in some breaking balls. He got early strikeouts, swings and misses, and you knew that Javier had it going, and you were waiting for offense, and it didn't come, so the pressure continued to be on Javier each inning, but he had very few stressors. Walked a man or two, that was it. And what you want when you're down 2-1 and you know you've got to get game 4, you want offense, but when you're not getting it, you require pitching. Javier, who has been lights out, barely giving up a run in his last 37 innings, comes out and starts a combined no-hitter. By the way, second one of the year for the Astros.
That's right.
Guess who did the first combined no-hitter? Yeah, Javier. This is not your ordinary four-starter.
Also, the second time the Phillies have had a combined no-hitter against them. Incidentally, both of those instances happened in New York, one at Yankee Stadium and one in Queens. 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, 97 pitches, just 2 walks. They had 3 walks total. Those were their base runners for the Phillies. Brian Abreu, 1-2-3-7, struck out the side. Rafael Montero, 1-2-3-8, got a K along the way. Ryan Presley worked through a scoreless ninth, a K along the way. 14 strikeouts in all. Well rested is the pen. I want to talk about the other side, though. The Phillies give it up in the bullpen for the first time in a long time. Aaron Nola pulled with the sacks juiced in the 5th inning after 67 pitches. Alvarado came in, gave it up. First batter he hit and forced in a run. Your thoughts on that pitching change right there?
Well, you have to understand, this is baseball 2022. It's a totally different sport now. You're not expecting your starters to go 9 innings. The day of the complete game is gone. We had a combined no-hitter, and you take a guy out after 97 pitches because that's the right thing to do. Aaron Nola has been pulled. This is what Rob Thompson does with the Phillies. He gets his starters, Wheeler, Nola, Suarez. They're looking at 65 to 75 pitches. His bullpen's been lights out. But as you know, bullpens give up runs, even with days off. The reason why you go to Alvarado there is you've got Alvarez at the plate, lefty-lefty, but Alvarez can hit lefties, but he didn't even have a chance to. Alvarado tries to go in on him, hits him, and all of a sudden that's the run. And what the Astros are good at with their deep lineup is once the floodgate opens just a teeny bit, they are going to wedge it open, and they put up a crooked number. And once they had 5 runs, it was game over. Game over, especially given what Javier was doing. Point out the shutdown inning after the 5 runs was critical. We're not even dreaming of a no-hitter at that point. We're just talking about a shutdown inning, and Javier got it, which was the biggest half inning of the game, was the bottom of the 5th.
That all the scoring in the game came in the top half of the 5th inning, that 5 spot by the Astros. I want to quote you, by the way. Bregman's up with the sacks juiced after Alvarado got hit. And you quickly point out, Bregman, most home runs, most RBIs by a third baseman in the history of the World Series. 10 seconds later, next pitch, boom, double the other way. Big blow of the inning, 2 runs around as part of the 5-run frame. How comfortable, if you're on the Astros side, having Bregman at the plate in a huge spot?
He's been there from the beginning, right? This is his 4th World Series at the age of 28. He was my choice before the series started to win MVP because he's that kind of player. And that's the thing about the Astros lineup. You can bring in Alvarado, but there's a new rule. You got to face 3 hitters. Right. So if you're going to hit Alvarez, that's why you go lefty, righty, lefty in your lineup. You go Alvarez, then you go to Bregman, then back to Kyle Tucker. There's no breathing if you are the Philadelphia bullpen. And that's just the way the Astros were built. Remember, they lost by a touchdown 24 hours ago. Everyone was giving the Phillies the parade on Broad Street. The Astros have short memories, key to the game. The Astros understood that they can beat this team, and they had to get 1 win to make Philly get on the plane tomorrow night, and they accomplished that tonight in historic fashion, a combined no-hitter. I can't believe we watched that. Were you at the 1956 game?
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't either. I've seen highlights, though.
You know, another thing we were talking about during the game, and I was for Pena with the first 2 run on in that inning to bunt. You were for him swinging away, and sure enough, he got a knock to juice the bases with nobody out. But the top of the lineup, Altuve, Pena, Alvarez, kind of made things happen for them on this night. How important is that for Houston?
It's critical, right? And that play made me smile because they showed Dusty Baker up close after Pena tried to bunt. By the way, here's what you didn't see from the Astros dugout. There was no left, right, a little nose twinkle, a little hat. No, the bunt sign wasn't on. It looks like Pena took it upon himself to try that bunt with 1 strike. Luckily, he fouled it away, and Dusty Baker was just shaking his head, saying, please, swing away. It's so important not to give away outs when you're at Citizens Bank Park. That is a bandbox. And if you're a team like the Astros, you want to use all 27 of your outs to score runs and get crooked numbers, especially in this situation, in this game, down 2-1. And that inning went picture perfect for the Astros.
David, Game 4 was a critical game. There's no other way you could say it in this series. It's 3-1 Philly or 2-2 with the Astros, knowing they're going to be going back home regardless of what happens in Game 5. But how much, you talked about it before the game started in terms of being able to turn the page, forget about yesterday. How much of the been there, done that with the Astros in the CS for 6 straight years kind of played a role in that? We've been here before, in a sense.
This is a tested team. This is a veteran team, and they've switched out some parts, right? You look at their shortstop. He's a rookie. They let Carlos Correa go for $30 million to the Twins, and they give Pena $700,000 and say, please be our Gold Glove winning number 2 hitter. They play with composure. And the truth is, it starts with Dusty Baker. He's got this very calm demeanor as he's gotten older. He has gravitas. They want to win it for him. But after the game last night, what we should note is Dusty Baker was good. Hey, they beat us. 5 home runs. McCullers wasn't tipping. He was tipping. We're not even talking about it. We get to come right back and play. And that starts at the manager, and the players executed the game plan against Nola perfectly. They got the offense they needed. And this bullpen, it's historic, the no-hitter. But by the way, this bullpen, they're really good. We've talked about the Phillies not giving up runs. The Astros bullpen, they used all their high-leverage guys. Do you know why? Not because they wanted the record.
Win the game.
They wanted the win. You've got it. Way more important when we look back is the fact that they will have a ring.
Abreu was just filthy. 12 pitches, 1, 2, 3, struck out the side in that 7th inning. You know, as you push forward here now, it's a best of 3. And Justin Verlander gets the ball, and I know it's Syndergaard and a pen game for the Phillies, but Verlander gets the ball, and you pointed this out earlier. 8 starts, 0-6, 6.07. No one's been worse in that many outings in the World Series.
I want to say this out loud because the Houston Astros just pitched a no-hitter, and their starting pitcher tomorrow is going to win the Cy Young Award, and he is the single worst pitcher in the history of the World Series. Literally the worst, with 8 starts, 0-6, a 6+ ERA. Game 1 starter gave up 5 runs. He's coming back, extra day of rest. He's going against Noah Syndergaard. And this is a game, if you are the Phillies, there's no questions asked. You don't go to Houston down 3-2 and expect to win. You can't win a series going on the road down 3-2 unless you're the Marlins playing the Cubs in the championship series in 03. Other than that, it's not going to happen. Critical game. The crowd needs to be loud. There has to be early scoring. But if you're the Astros, you're very, very pleased.
You're expecting to see Sir Anthony Dominguez early.
Yeah, they did not pitch him. Remember, these guys, these high-leverage guys for Philly, hadn't pitched since Game 1, and same with the Astros. So they needed to get work. So that is why it worked perfectly for Dusty Baker to use his back end of the bullpen. It didn't work as well, but you saw Eflin, you saw Robertson, you saw Alvarado. You just didn't see Sir Anthony. You will guarantee see him maybe even in the 4th or 5th inning with Syndergaard having a very short leash. The Phillies look at this as a must-win game. The Astros could take their foot off the pedal a teeny tiny bit, but not a Dusty Baker team. They want to go back to Houston up 3-2.
This is a special night, and here's why, right here. No hitters in postseason history. You see it right there. 3 all told. 2 in the World Series. Again, 118 years they're playing the World Series. Don Larson, the last one way back in 1956. This the first combined no-no. It comes on this night, Game 4 of the Fall Classic. Again, ironically, the last no-hitter in the postseason came in Philadelphia for the Phillies when Roy Halladay was the starting pitcher for the Phils.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.